I just invite you to take some pause for setting the stage here and now. And for me, it's always helpful that I do this with putting my hand on my heart, as you might see that I'm doing. Because just this gesture is for me a very important reminder to really connect to my essence. My essence that I can sense, that I can really be aware of its living presence inside of me. So this living presence inside of yourself, take your time to connect to that essence in your heart and to give yourself a heartfelt welcome. And you can also sense if your heart feels like an open space to just being aware of this unconditional loving presence. That in you, that it's much more and much bigger than what you might think you are. And I always take some time to just be aware that this inner presence is grounded, has its roots in my bodily felt connection with Mother Earth. So that's for me very important to be aware about my grounding, my being part of nature. And I also make this connection in the other direction by being aware that I'm part of this immense universe where I don't know what it is, but where I can sense that there is my source, my resource, being, of loving, of creation, living. So take your time to really feel this being connected to, and I make this, I don't know the word in English, but it's like a circle like this, and then a circle that goes to the center of the earth, and my heart is like the edge, the center. And for my heart, I'm deeply in touch with this bodily felt experience of grounding and this infinite space. Okay. And then you can sense whether you also can make connection to the people being in this workshop. That also this is a circle of persons being connected with a loving presence. This is for me not just an exercise. This is something that's for me very helpful to really remind myself that this is what I always have at hand, that's always nearby, that I can connect to this loving presence, that I can sense inside me, and that I'm part of something that's much bigger than this small human being. So, and when I address that, that's also because I really want to emphasize that living forward is about this never-ending, continuing movement that never stops. Whatever crisis we are in, whatever difficult situation we are in, whatever the darkness is that we feel stuck. This is for me always, always, always available. And this is for me always my resource to find the light and to nourish my hope that whatever happens, something new will come out. And this is where I have this sensitivity for how to find these keys for transformation. And for me, there are several important keys, as you could read also about in the manuscript I made available. But the most important thing is that you can experience what works for you as your keys, and that you can really sense in your body this transformational power that's yours. It's really yours. And very often it's just a way of opening up, letting go your old ideas or your old concepts or your expectations of what you think you should happen, letting go of that and receiving the possibility of something new that can come when you are ready for this transformational move. So, of course, I could say a lot to start with, but I trust you could read what I tried to express in my manuscript. And what's most important is how this resonates in you, and that you feel very welcome by sharing what resonates in you, and we might develop something more from where you have a question or where you want to just say something about what touched you or what intrigues you or what moved you or whatever. I think it's always about finding a connection that helps you to be aware of this loving presence or this nourishment or this inspiration. And this can come from many sides. This can come from deep from the earth, from Mother Nature, by feeling how you are part of nature and how your body is a natural process and not a fact. Our bodies are processes, like everything in nature is a process. So the connection can come there as something, oh, that helps you to find some new life. Or the connection can come just by how you relate to your inner sense of being, that you can sense, that you can let go of, that you can let go something of your identity that was so important for you to feel safe, and that you can sense inside that, oh, when you can let go that old pattern of yourself, that you can arrive in a deeper layer where you arrive more in your purest inner being. Or it can also come from the connection with another human being, that this person, the connection with that person brings in like a life giving connection, that this just another person being there with you, with his or her loving presence, that can be life-changing. And it can come from there where you have your connection with the mystery of life, and you can sense, this is beyond everything I could imagine. So these are like, I could say very simple, these are 4 ways that are different ways where you can find your specific resource, what helps you in that moment. And also, this can change from situation to situation. But it's important that you remind yourself that you have these resources at your that they are available for you. That the only thing you have to do is to open up to receive and to let the transformation happen. Very often there is a resistance to the transformation because we hold on to the old pattern. And it's so beautiful that you mentioned it's clearing the space, and it is more. It's also not just clearing the space and opening up, it's also this interactional thing that you welcome interaction that brings something new, that brings more than what you could experience in this closed, fixed reality. And whatever you choose as what works for you as an interaction, that depends on the situation. Like, I can choose the weather as where I interact with the storm that's going on, and I can choose that to interact with what's going on in nature. I can choose many things, but it's not just opening my space, but it's also receiving what I'm giving a meaning in the moment also. Because, for example, when I interact with the storm, the weather, it's not just a fixed idea about what does it mean, storm. It's this interaction with my experience in the moment, where the meaning is developing. And that's always new. That's never the same as it was yesterday. Same with in this interaction with yourself. There's always more than what was there yesterday. It's always somewhat different. So that's also why I emphasize we tend to think about a situation or as a fact, also or body or age. We tend to think as this is a fact, while we aren't facts. A situation isn't a fact. A situation is always a process. And in the process is always this sensitivity for this developing reality and this developing meaning. Please feel free to come in.
I love that receiving is at the heart of being aware of the process, of participating in the great big process of evolution, because we always think of the part of it as what we do, and the receiving is the receiving and the doing are one interaction.
Yeah, there is what I emphasize as this paradoxical qualities in this deep understanding of paradoxical reality of life. There is never this opposite. Like there is no opposite between receiving and doing. They are interconnected. So, and we tend a lot to polarize, to make these different parts. Well, life doesn't work like that. When you make it separate parts and you polarize it, there is no more this flow of energy. The flow of energy or living forward always supposes this interaction between these different poles and not polarizing it. For me, it's not about being there and not being there. For me, it's about stages in awareness. Like also literally our body has stages in development. So also our understanding of life is developing our awareness about life. And personally, I try, I can't say I'm always successful in that, but I try to not make this difference of they are there and I am here. I just try to be present and making connection to whatever someone's level of consciousness is, or whatever awareness someone is in. Of course, it's so comfortable to be in to be in relationship with someone who shares a level of awareness that makes the connection much easier.
I love the word evocative, because it feels like focusing is so much about evoking the next step for the person, the next communication, the next metaphor. And even if it's overwhelming and one can say something about the overwhelming, that can be a next step, because it's sort of a next step in the interaction of the two of us.
Yeah. That's why the pause is so important, that even when it can be overwhelming, when you take a pause, you open a space for a next step that can come. So the pause is this space where the person can process with what you are evoking. Or where you can sense that it's too much, and then you can take some steps back and try to find where the person can connect with. So that's for me the importance of the pose.
The knower, the known. It's like putting out the knower, and then there's the one who doesn't know enough. So I'm just sharing all of that. It's
I
so
really want to connect with that. It's not about that this person doesn't have that. It's more that this person doesn't notice it.
Mm.
So, like when you are breathing, everyone has this breathing in and breathing out. But some people don't notice their breathing in and breathing out. And it's the same with this focusing thing. Everyone has this inner living, this inner life energy. Otherwise, they were dead. They were no more living. But it goes on unnoticed. Like we also could say, whatever the darkness is someone is living in, there is a sparkle of light, but it goes on unnoticed. So what we try to bring in is this opening up to notice what's already there in the person. Want to continue that noticing supposes being aware of your not knowing. When I think that I know it, then I get somewhat fixed, and I bring in a hindrance of noticing freshly. That's also problematic with every theory or every belief. If you think that you know it, that your theory is right, that's a real hindrance in noticing freshly in the moment. And then it's so important that you can experience another presence that connects with you, that's able to contain what's overwhelming you. Because you are right that not noticing is a way of defending or protecting yourself to what's overwhelming. And especially then, you really need the presence of someone or something that helps you to contain that overwhelming reality. And there you need someone who notices you being overwhelmed. we use a lot the metaphor of clearing the space. We can also look at the metaphor of clearing this instrument, like my body with my different senses. They work, it all works as an instrument. And it's also about clearing my instrument. That's what I learned mostly with all the physical problems and all this very tough situations that sometimes make me nearly crazy and hopeless. And time again, it also worked like clearing my instrument, like discovering, oh, there is something in my way of thinking that's quite fixed, or there is something in the way I look to it that I tend to view it in from my old way. So it's always for me also a process of purification of this body as an instrument. And you are right, we can become more and more aware about the different glasses we can put on, or the different ways we tend to shape reality in a way that that our instrument perceives it. But the more we clear our instrument, or the more we discover about our own shadow sides, the purer we can become an instrument also to be with another person in the most purest way, that the essence of that other person can light up. So when we use a specific metaphor, whatever it is, this is something that's very important for me, that we stay aware about every metaphor is just a bridge, a bridge that helps us to develop meaning, because we need the words as a bridge from an experience that's difficult to grasp, and then the word or the metaphor as giving it some expression in the world, while at the same time that metaphor or that word does never say it totally. So it's only a bridge between the experience and how we try to discover meaning in it, or to develop meaning. And the words and the metaphors or other images we use, time and time again, they are just only these bridges that bring us to the next step. You say brings me to the importance of allowing what just comes. You could give it a big word like synchronicity, but you could also understand synchronicity as that you allow what just comes, and that what just comes, that can be a song in your mind, or that can be an animal that just comes, or an object that attracts your attention. So just noticing what presents itself and what you can receive from it. that's for me a very important way also of allowing new life or even new grace flow through me by just allowing what just comes. And this is not always about something big. Sometimes it's, for me, it's even just a stone that in, like an object that's in my room, and my attention goes to the stone, and I can feel, oh, the beauty of that stone, and the stone looks like the big images in that the Hubble telescope makes, and it gives me really like, oh, I have something I can like a handle. So it's only about what presents itself. You can notice it and you can develop a meaning from it freshly in the moment that offers you a possibility to connect with something of life and to open up to some new experience, even if it's a very small experience, just like, oh, this song, oh, the word in this song touches me, or I feel moved by the rhythm of the song, or whatever. Just this is something I also love to mention, that these small things are also like synchronicity that help you to be aware of how everything in life is connected. But it depends on how you develop meaning in it.